Hey there, in today's video, I am just taking you along as I refine, and I guess that's a good word for it, right? Refine. Anyway, the process that I take when I make greeting cards. So all of my greeting cards are original, hand painted, and most of them typically come from collage paper. So I will kind of refine collage paper again and again and again, and then it becomes, I cut it down, and then it becomes a greeting card. And I do have a video where I show the process of how I put those cards together, and I will link that below. But today, it's more like I have a big stack of collage papers, random papers, and then I just show you, here's what, in fast forward, how I just refine. I thought I was gonna use more than just paint. I had pulled out my oil pastels. I really didn't use them that much, but I feel like the oil pastels in general are good for a final little touch on the top, And most of the ones I was working on, I didn't feel like they were quite at the end yet. So anyway, just wanted to show you how I pull together and how I decide on when I make cards, how I do those. And I'm getting ready to put up a new batch on my website. And so I thought, oh, I'll just take you along and show you kind of the process of what I go through. And then at the end, I'll drop a few photos in of the cards when they're finished. So anyway, without further ado, let's get started. Before I get started, I thought I would just show you what I'm going to be using primarily. I may reach for more things, but to get started, I have just taken out some light paint colors, some dark paint colors, just always titanium white, Mars black. This is actually a burnt umber. I meant to grab my raw umber, but that's fine. A Payne's gray. This one's a little more fluid. It's the Atelier Interactive, and most of these other ones are all heavy body. And this is yellow oxide, and this is, let me grab the paint. It's an Amsterdam Naples yellow red light. So it's kind of like a beigey color with a little bit of yellow and maybe a little bit of red, pinkish, kind of pinkish, yellowish, beigeish color. So I just wanted to have lights and darks, and this is actually more of a mid-tone, but I'll probably mix it with some white. Then I decided, just to limit myself, although this is a bigger palette than a lot of times that I would do, I decided that I would also, if I needed a different color or I wanted something, a pop of something when I'm working, I pulled out my oil pastels. So I'm gonna have these kind of off to the side where I could grab them, and actually right underneath that in another box is the soft pastels. So if I really get stuck, but I don't want to start bringing in a whole bunch of colors. This is a palette that I really like. It's fairly neutral with some darks and some lights, and that's where I want to go. So I have this stack of papers that I eventually want to convert into greeting cards, and it's time for me to kind of re-up in my on my website. So I've got to get started, and I thought, well, I'll just show you what I'm doing. I did some yesterday, and then thought, well, today I'll just turn the camera on. So most of it will be in fast forward. I just want to show you the process and show you that I look at each one and I'm going to just decide, like, what does it need, what is too much. And a lot of them don't need a lot because I will not use them this size. I usually cut down to 4x6. So some of it will be cut off, and I kind of like having the opportunity to cut that down so things will get cut off in the process before I adhere it to the greeting card. So I'm just going to begin, and just wanted to show you the setup that I have getting started. Oh, also I will have a few paintbrushes and maybe a palette knife and a color shaper. I'm also just going to be working on top of a piece of deli paper, just, I guess, to protect the desk that I'm working on so it doesn't get super painty, although a lot of times I don't really care. But in this case, I'm going to, and I'll probably just I won't probably work on in a big stack like this. I'll probably grab one at a time and get working. So enough of the chit chat, let's get started. One other thing before I get started, sorry, just keep adding things. I'm going to be using smaller brushes, all different shapes. I like all different tips when I'm working because I think it lends itself to a different result depending on the style and the type of the brush you're using and the size. But because this is so small, I probably will stick, this is a 1/2 inch, and that'll probably be the largest. I might grab a 3/4 inch just because I might want a big bold stripe or a big bold mark. But for the most part, I will be using smallish brushes. I promise this is it. Let's get started.